Hey, everybody, this is Nicole Kaufman, the Right Therapist, and I am coming at you today. Man, what a news cycle this week. The hits just keep on coming. And let me tell you something. I am coming at you today because I, I don't even know what to call this episode, to be honest with you. I guess I have to call it a little bit of a rant because your girl here has just about had it. I have had it with these double standards, okay? And it's coming home to, the chickens are coming home to roost right now because what I'm noticing is this is starting to hit my industry in a big way. I say my industry, as you guys know, I'm a therapist, so I'm in that mental health space, right? And so what I wanted to talk to you about today was Brené Brown. Now, many of you may not know who Brené Brown is, but I'll just kind of bring you up to speed. And I want to start by saying that I don't know her personally, and I have liked and respected her for a number of years. And today, I'm just taking her to task on some things that she's saying on the Facebooks, as it were. And I just have a little bit of a problem with it. And it's really got me fired up here. I'm not really sure why it's got me so fired up, but I just got to talk about it today for you. And so basically, she is weighing in on this Joe Rogan thing. So I'm going to have a link in the show notes where you can watch an excellent TED Talk video that basically launched her career a number of years ago. So in relationships now, you probably are familiar with the word vulnerability. We have heard the word vulnerability kind of thrown around in relationships, and that word was really brought to the forefront and is now used in common therapy parlance and even relationship conversation because of this woman, Brené Brown. She did a ton of really good research on vulnerability and shame and what all that means and how to harness that part of your personality and actually kind of make it work for you. Speak your truth, becoming more authentic with your relationships with people, both at work and at home. And so there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that, right? And it's made for some great conversation, and she has some great programs out there. Now, Brené Brown makes the bulk of her living doing podcasts on Spotify, and she also does corporate trainings. So she is very ensconced, if you will, into the corporate ecosystem or the corporate sector of the business world. So recently, you'd have to be living under a rock not to know that Brené Brown that Joe Rogan is under intense scrutiny for, his being platformed on Spotify. And there have been lots of people threatening and removing their playlists and their music from Spotify because he is still on there. And all this to say, Ms. Brené Brown, Dr. Brené Brown actually, did write a Facebook post that said that she wanted to think about deeply remaining, I guess, on Spotify, given that Joe Rogan was on there. Now, this is just firing me up. This has me so really upset because double standard, double standard, double standard. And I think we're about all done with double standards. Okay. And so I'm going to have this linked to her Facebook post, but I want to read some of it to you and tell you exactly what I have a problem with. All right. So Brené Brown, full disclosure, is a multi-year exclusive contract. And she has that with Spotify. So she does not have the ability to pull down her playlist or her compendium of podcasts off of the Spotify platform, right? And here's the thing. So if you don't have the ability to do that, why are you weighing in? Why are you weighing in if you couldn't do anything about it? But okay, so you're one of the specials, Dr. Brown, you're one of the specials, so you get to weigh in on who should be there and who should not be. I guess that's the first problem I have with this. And as a therapist, and she's a therapist as well, has her doctorate in social work, I would think that on its face, this would smack as so wrong of her to take the authority to do this, but she feels beholden to do it because she has so many fans. So I guess I kind of get that, right? So she says she can't pull her network down, but she goes on to further criticize Joe Rogan in all sorts of ways, which I find actually really offensive. I find this really reprehensible on her part. Okay. And I want to tell you, I'm going to read to you exactly what she says. She says, I'm at Spotify with everybody. So I'm sitting at the table with everybody who does podcasts there, including Joe Rogan. And she's making it clear. I think she's not saying it out loud. She doesn't want to be at Spotify with him there, but she kind of has to be because she really doesn't have a say because she signed that contract. All right. And so then what she does say that Rogan's comments about the trans community are dehumanizing, and his take on race is often degrading. Furthermore, the clip where Rogan is laughing with Joey Diaz as he brags about demanding sexual favors from young female comedians wanting to perform on stage at LA's Comedy Store made me physically sick. Words matter. Do they? Do they, Dr. Brown? Because let me tell you something. You are sitting at the same platform as Cardi B. You are sitting at the same platform as Chris Brown, notably very offensive artists who are putting some nasty stuff out there as far as content. And you have the audacity to call out one Joe Rogan? This seems duplicitous, disingenuous, and the double standard here is just spectacularly, oh my gosh, spectacularly bad. I don't even know how she was able to put this up there in good faith. All right. Has anybody seen the Cardi B video for the WAP song that I'm talking about? I'm not going to get into it on here because we are a family friendly channel, but let's just say it is gross. It is gross, the lyrics in that song. It is gross, the fact that I have to sit my son down and explain to him exactly what is going on in this song and how this is really not acceptable to talk like this or to be like this as far as a female, and that it's not acceptable female behavior to behave that way. Candace Owens went to town on Cardi B, and I think it was incredibly justified. But for Brené Brown to go on and to throw stones at one Joe Rogan when she shares this platform with countless artists who say countless disgraceful things in their songs, in their lyrics, I just think it's disingenuous. And it's becoming more and more clear that the specials among us, and I do believe at this time that Dr. Brown considers herself a special because she needs to pile on and call out Joe Rogan instead of everybody else that she's sharing Spotify with. But because she's doing this, right, that it's not that we want him to have warning labels on his show. It's not good enough that he apologizes and say, you know what, I said the N word 15 years ago, and I don't say it anymore because it's not my word to say, and I don't feel right in saying it now. God forbid anybody have a learning lesson. Anybody could change over time. And I guess that's the problem that I have with Dr. Brown, because aren't we in therapy supposed to give people the benefit of the doubt that they can actually change, they can evolve and be able to think about their behavior and do things differently? Well, I do think that that's what he was saying the other day when he got on. And I have to say, I don't really like the apology that he gave. I thought it was a quasi apology, not really, but it kind of really was. But at the same time, as a therapist, do we not say, hey, good for him. He thought better about it. He's doing things different. No, the left wants to data mine everything we've ever said and everything we've ever done since the dawn of our first post on Facebook or WhatsApp or, MySpace or whatever it happened to be. And we're going to use that against you. We're going to weaponize that and use that against you so that you can be not only humiliated, but deplatformed and put out of a job. Shame on you, Brené Brown. Shame on you for doing that. But here's where it gets really rich. And I guess this was the part for me that kind of sent me over the edge, which is why I'm just fired up today. And I apologize, y'all. I usually don't get this activated, but it's, I could hardly sleep last night. I was thinking about this. So she goes on to say in this post, further down, as I mentioned at the start, I remain under an exclusive contract with Spotify. I'm going to make the best podcast I can by talking about the issues that I think matter. My commitment to our community doesn't change. In fact, this is rich. We're starting with a conversation with ACLU attorney Ben Wisner about free speech, misinformation, and, wait for it, big tech oligarchs. All right, ACLU. Let me just go real quick through a few headlines here that involve the ACLU. You ready? ACLU defends transgender Penn swimmer despite calling itself a champion for women. Biden judicial nominee said proof of citizenship is voter suppression. Apparently, the ACLU weighed in there. Teachers unions, ACLU, want Biden to extend student loan repayment pause and cancel student debt. The ACLU targets the Loudoun County teacher's speech, wants to force them to use gender affirming pronouns. This is the ACLU that she's looking to for advice. Really, Brené Brown? Really? This is your go-to. This is your go-to as far as getting an advice or getting advice as for what to do next. I don't think so. Spectacularly disingenuous. Stop it. Just stop it. And you know what? Let's just be real honest here and let's just say the quiet part out loud. Cardi B is cashing checks from Spotify. So's Joe Rogan. So's Chris Brown. And so are you. If you don't like it, go ahead and platform yourself. Do your own network like the Daily Wire does, Ben Shapiro and Matt Walsh. They make no secret about how they feel. And they're not catering to anybody necessarily. They do have advertisers, but they are their own platform. So nobody's telling them or putting warning labels on anything about what they can and can't do. So you are welcome to go do it yourself. I believe that's what Oprah did. Right. And how well is that going for her? She's kind of faded into non-existence, except when she wants to get political and she comes back on the scene with her Oprah network, her own network. But let's just say what we really need to say here is that Dr. Brené Brown makes her money, makes big money by catering to the corporate ecosystem. She makes her money by doing corporate trainings on authenticity and vulnerability at the corporate level. And who's turning more woke right now than those corporate people? They're one after the other. So, don't spit on me, Brené Brown, and tell me it's raining. I don't buy it. I don't buy any of this, awkward, brave, and kind wouldn't be important if it were easy. Well, what can I even say to that? All right, awkward. Yeah, this is a little awkward because you're trying to skate Occam's razor here, and it's not working. Brave. Is it brave to be calling out one person while you're sitting in the grand company of all these rappers and folks who are putting out disgusting lyrics that, I don't know, I guess the ACLU supports or you tacitly support because you're still there? And kind, is it really kind to say and do what you're doing by piling on to Joe Rogan? I don't think so. I really don't. So, I like Brené Brown, and I get that she feels like she had to say something here, and I just don't think she said it in the right way. I think, really, maybe she should have just, kept her lips closed on this one. But again, when you're one of the specials, you got to pile on, and she's no exception. Anyway, that is my rant. I got that out of my system. I'm really even wondering if this will be published, because I kind of went nuts. But that's what I had today, y'all. I just got fired up and had to share. So, this double standard things and what's happening to Joe Rogan, it'll be interesting to turn the page and see where this goes. But my thoughts and prayers are with some Joe Rogan here, because I think he's doing a wonderful thing. So y'all have a great weekend, and happy Valentine's to you on Monday. All right, take care.